where the lights shine bright. Vegas, in the clear desert night. Vegas, where they can make you a star. Vegas, at the
NFR Extra is a weekly podcast that focuses on the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo and features icons that embody the rodeo and Western lifestyle.
And so I really honed in and started paying attention to the contestants. I started looking at stats. I started really understanding just how much discipline and athletic ability goes into rodeo sports. It's incredible. And contestants, I have to tell you, the contestants just blew me away. I've had a chance to sponsor everything from the bull riders to the bareback riders, and they are all just wonderful individuals. They're great people. The genuine nature of the contestants, of the sponsors, of the business folks who come in for this, of the fans who come in. There are relationships that are built that are lifetime relationships. Some of my closest friends I met through the NFR.
Hey, this is Ryan Bingham, and you are listening to NFR Extra.
Well, I tell you what, I've had the opportunity to meet our next guest, Mr. Chad Brown, a couple of times in the environment of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, and I'm excited I've also just found out that he's a veteran of the United States Army, so thank you very much for your service on that, but more so, talk about the venture of Virgin Las Vegas. Mr. Chad Brown, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come on.
Oh, 100%, man. What's your year been looking like so far?
You know, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride this year. We've had some shining lights. We've had a little bit of downturn. As you know, it's affected the whole world. So I got to tell you, we're looking real good going into Q4 and going into September and October with the show lineups we have that I'm excited to talk to you about, and a lot of other great things going on at the property level. So we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. Things are looking really good. We just see increases every single day with visitors coming into the city. With new venues opening up. It's just a great time in Las Vegas right now.
Well, let's jump into that show lineup.
Yeah, well, we're really excited this year. We've got Gary Allen coming back to the property during NFR. He'll be here on December 2nd and December 3rd. We just announced Co Wetzel will be here on December 6th. So we're real excited about having Co come back. As you know, unfortunately, he had to postpone his tour earlier in the year, and we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to have him come back and book during NFR, which we think is a beautiful marriage between country music and the NFR. We have a couple other shows that are going to be announced shortly within the theater that everyone's going to be real excited about that I can't talk about yet, but those announcements will come out shortly. And I'll tell you, I'm even more excited probably about our partnership with Cowboy Revival. So you may be aware, last year, Virgin Hotels Las Vegas partnered with Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and together with Cowboy Revival to really bring in some of this country music that's so special to everyone. And I'll tell you what, these guys have done one heck of a job with their lineup this year. These are performers that will be in 24 Oxford, which is our slightly smaller concert venue, where we'll be hosting our live viewing party, and a Calcutta. And we've got the likes of Easton Corbin, Dylan Carmichael, Glenn Templeton, Drake Milligan, Joe Nichols, Heath Sanders, and a couple of other up-and-coming artists that we're just real excited about. And we'll have entertainment in there every single night of the NFR.
That's awesome, man. That's quite the impressive lineup. And you know, what I really like is that country revival. You know, the direction that they're going and the momentum that they have for good old-fashioned, heartfelt American country music. I mean, that's impressive that you got that going on.
Well, it's important to us. You know, if there's anything about the Virgin brand itself, we're an inclusive resort. We're an upper upscale resort. I always felt that partnering with Cowboy Revival was a perfect brand alignment in terms of the consumer that's interested in the Cowboy Revival type of music and also interested in the type of property and guest services that we offer here. It's a beautiful matchup. And last year was great, and we expect this year to be twice as big.
So talk to us about your brand there at Virgin Las Vegas and the changes that you guys have gone through in revamping a lot of that property.
Yeah, you know, when we bought the Hard Rock in 2018, we had every intention of completely rebranding this property. And you've seen some of the other resorts in Las Vegas that went through a remodel and they kept the property open and there was kind of some co-branding going on. We took a different route. We closed the property on February 3rd. of 2020, the day after the Super Bowl, completely closed down. And that night, the casino floor was bare. I mean, we started right away. We took the casino floor down all the way to dirt and started completely over. There's not a square inch of this property we did not remodel. We realigned the casino floor. We redid all 5 acres of the resort pool. We actually filled in Rehab Beach Club, if for those of your listeners that are familiar with that venue. And we built an outdoor amphitheater that we're real proud of called the Event Lawn. We built a new beach club called Elia Beach Club on the other side of the resort pool experience. And we completely redid the guest resort portion of the pool as well. All sand bottom pools, all 4 of them. Beautiful space out there with completely different experiences based on what you'd like to enjoy when you're here on property. We remodeled every one of our rooms. We've got 64 different room types here, 1,500 rooms at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. The rooms are absolutely spectacular. They mirror all of the Virgin brand guidelines for the Virgin hotels that you'll find across the country. And, what we really focused on more than anything was our guest service and that guest experience when you arrive on property. I've had the pleasure of being a part of a whole lot of hotel resorts in Las Vegas up and down the Strip. And I can tell you with all honesty, this is the first true luxury lifestyle resort that I've been a part of. And you can tell in the service standards, and you can tell in the way the guests are treated every day when they walk into this property. I mean, there's just so many different things we've taken advantage of. We put in 12 new restaurants, every single one of them brand new, remodeled every one of them. We've partnered with folks like the Morton Brothers for One Steakhouse, which, by the way, is probably one of the more popular restaurants we have on property during NFR, one of the best steaks in town. We've got Cassie Beach Club, which is Nick Mather's restaurant out of Santa Monica. And that restaurant is at the 50-yard line of the resort, indoor-outdoor restaurant with a beautiful patio overview of the pool. We partnered again with Todd English, and we brought back the famous olives that, as you know, used to be in Bellagio. And we've brought that brand back. We've refreshed it and are really happy to be partnering with Todd English. And then, of course, we've got wonderful Mexican food with Casa Calavera, operated by Tao Group. So, they always do an amazing job with their venues. And just a lot going on here. I mentioned we have 4 concert venues here on property. That was a big deal to us to have that entertainment level at this resort. And we've got the theater, who the audience may remember was previously the Joint, now called the Theater at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. Went through a $7 million remodel. We have the event lawn that I talked about that's outdoor, holds about 2,000 people with built-in staging and VIP out there. We have 24 Oxford, which I also mentioned. That's a little bit smaller, more intimate concert venue, holds about 750 people. And then we've got Elia Beach Club, which, we've had the likes of Snoop Dogg, and we even had some country out there with Bronco Brown and a couple other folks where we had country days out there. And it's just a really cool experience that nobody else is doing in town right now.
That's so cool. You think about Las Vegas and what Las Vegas was built on, and the entertainment, the customer service, the experience that you can't get anywhere. And you just explained every single possible endeavor that you'd want to have when you come to Las Vegas, all wrapped up in one property right there.
Yeah, that's very important. It's important to Richard Branson and that Virgin brand. We've got mobile check-in and digital key for the ease of our guests. Our mini bar prices reflect street prices. So, what you're used to paying in mini bars in Las Vegas, you don't experience that here. Of course, I think we're really proud that we have free parking. It's complimentary parking.
Oh, nice.
Both for visitors and guests. So that's year round, no exceptions. We've got 2 gigantic parking garages to service our visitors and our guests. And, that's part of what I think makes this property a little bit special for NFR is our proximity to the Thomas and Mack Center. We're a mile away from the Thomas and Mack. We're the closest resort. We do offer complimentary parking all the time, and we have a complimentary shuttle service that runs to and back from the property to the Thomas and Mack during NFR. So a lot of great reasons for people to come visit us. If they get out to the NFR, that's great. If they want to come to our viewing parties, or they want to come to some of our entertainment venues or dine in our restaurants, they know they can get into this property easily, and they can get in complimentary. What's
your viewing party situation look like there?
Oh, it's, partnering with Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation on that viewing party has been absolutely amazing, and partnering with Cowboy Revival as well. So I'll tell you, our setup is in the 24 Oxford, and we start off at 4:30 in the afternoon with a Calcutta. That's a Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation sanctioned event in there where, as most of your listeners know that Calcutta is a fantasy draft for the NFR teams for that night. 50% of the funds raised for that go to a charity, which we're really proud to be a part of. And you get paid out cash that evening, right after the rodeo. There's a direct cash payout to the winner. And then we slide right from the Calcutta into the viewing party. And the viewing party is, we've got 2 different bars in there. So there's always no waiting in line to get drinks. You can get them right away. We've got some giant screens set up in there. There's a little bit of seating and some high boys in there. And the viewing party will be a lot of fun because we've got an MC in there. We do a lot of really special giveaways. All of our sponsors and partners have a lot of product and a lot of fun experiences that they're giving away in there throughout the show. And then as soon as that live viewing wraps up, about 30 minutes later, we go into the official after party. And that's where we really get into that Cowboy Revival lineup that we're so excited about. So it's a great night of events. You never even have to leave 24 Oxford. If you choose to, there's plenty of other opportunities of things to do on property and places to view the rodeo. But that's really where the hub of the party is going to be.
So you've been involved with the NFR at multiple properties. What does the NFR itself mean to you on a personal level, Chad?
I got involved with NFR many, many years ago, probably right around 2003, 2004. And at the time, I'm a city boy. I admit that. I grew up from Phoenix, grew up in Las Vegas, lived all over the world. As you mentioned, I was in the service and served overseas and went to 5 different colleges. And I never really knew much about Western lifestyle until I got involved at a resort on the Strip in sponsorship with Las Vegas events and the NFR. And what I'll tell you is the genuine nature of the contestants, of the sponsors, of the business folks who come in for this, of the fans who come in. There are relationships that are built that are lifetime relationships. Some of my closest friends I met through the NFR, and these are business partners as well. And what I found is, a handshake actually means something, and that means a lot. In the type of industry we're in, where everything's a contract and everything's written in black and white, knowing that you can trust and partner with folks that are going to come through for you, that are going to deliver upon what they say they're going to do. And contestants, I have to tell you, the contestants just blew me away. I've had a chance to sponsor everything from the bull riders to the bareback riders to the barrel racers at the different properties I've been at and the teams that I've sponsored. And they are all just wonderful individuals. They're great people. There's no chip on their shoulder. They're happy to meet with you. They're very, very cordial. There's a lot of respect. They're wonderful with the guests when they're on property, which, by the way, creates an amazing guest experience, which is what we're all about here at this property. And it ties right in. I mean, just the type of lifestyle that this sport brings ties right in with the type of hospitality that we want to offer at this property. And so I'll tell you, I've pulled a lot from my partnerships over the years and my involvement in NFR. I've pulled that hospitality into what we're trying to accomplish here at this property because it just means so much and nobody's doing that.
I want to key in on how that translates into your passion for sports, because for the listeners, they don't know about your watch collection or those elements that do exist outside of this. But tell us about how much you actually attend events and how it transitions into what the NFR is.
Well, I'm a blessed man. I get to attend many, many sporting events. I'm a big sports fan. There's really not a sport I'm not interested in at one level or another. I have a great affinity and appreciation for the talent level of these athletes, no matter what sport it is. This property is heavily involved in sports. We're sponsors of everything from the Raiders to the Golden Knights to UNLV football, UNLV basketball. We're involved at this property in all types of levels of sports. And me personally, as a huge sports fan, I just have a great appreciation for the dedication, for the challenge that comes into professional sports, to what the organizations go through to really collaborate and coordinate those events. And I do attend a lot of events, both in town, and I travel quite a bit to go to events out of town. I think that translates into the NFR because once I really got involved with NFR, I wanted to understand the sport. It was a sport I was not familiar with. And I wanted to understand it. I got really interested in it. So I started traveling to different events. I always go out to the American, get involved in a lot with different PRCA events around the country. I've got a cousin who is a steer wrestler. I've got another cousin who runs barrels. And so I really honed in and started paying attention to the contestants. I started looking at stats. I started really understanding just how much discipline and athletic ability goes into rodeo sports. It's incredible. And the different types of sports that are available, the different types of events, I should say, they're so unique. And it's one of those elements of the sport that I really enjoy. When you go to a rodeo event, there's different events that happen within that evening that the talent level and the skill level in each one of those events is just, it's superior. It's amazing.
In more than 3 decades in Vegas, 360 world champions have struck gold. None have won more titles than the 3 that make up the inaugural Vegas NFR Icons class. Banners for Trevor Brazile, Charmaine James, and Ty Murray will be permanently lifted to the rafters at the Thomas & Mack Center. And on December 1st, all 3 will be honored at a tribute luncheon at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. Get your tickets now. Go to nfrexperience.com/NFR Vegas Icons for details.
And the appreciation for the livestock. That's another big element here that people don't talk enough about, I don't think. Mm-hmm. The livestock is such an important element to the rodeo sport. And the way those animals are treated with respect, with dignity, the way they are taken care of by their owners and by folks who are involved with them. I mentioned I went to 5 different colleges, and UNLV happens to be one of the schools that I went to for one of my undergraduate degrees in marketing. And my wife and I went to school there together. And I got to tell you, NFR was in town when we were going to school there, and they took over our intramural fields with the livestock. And so we always knew when NFR was in, we always knew the animals were on campus. Yep. And it was a really cool experience for somebody who didn't understand it as much to see just what goes into taking care of those animals out on that intramural field. It's amazing.
Some different smells maybe too whenever you're playing football.
There were definitely different smells on campus. And I got to tell you, the Thomas & Mack Center, when you walk through the parking lot, there always seemed to be some hay out in the parking lot. Yeah.
Well, that, you don't have to be from agriculture or Western background to really appreciate the things that you were talking about as far as the sport part of the NFR and what that is. Because you can watch professional sports and, if the team doesn't play good or they lose, they're still getting paid, and what is very specific to rodeo is your performance and how you get paid are correlated and tied tightly together. So, when you come out there, it's got to be something to where even you have that appreciation to, wow, man, these guys have got to put it all on the line, because if they don't, they're not getting anything.
Well, I think that's reflected in the events that are at the National Finals Rodeo. I mean, every night these folks come out, ladies and men, and you see just that they're giving it everything. They don't leave anything behind. They don't play it safe. They're going after it. And I love that. I mean, it gets me, I got goosebumps right now because I just get excited at the level of intensity and focus that you see at the National Finals Rodeo.
Yeah. And that energy at this particular rodeo is literally second to none. And whether you're in the concourse or you're sitting in the seats, whatever that is, you feel that electricity that is, not only the contestants, but the fans and the excitement. And it's a unique experience.
It really is. I couldn't agree more.
So talking about the NFR a little bit more, with this being your second year having NFR events there at Virgin Las Vegas, what's going to be different? If there's somebody that stayed there in 21, what are you guys doing to shake things up in 22?
Well, the first thing we did is we moved the location of the viewing party. The viewing party last year was in a space called Money Baby. Wonderful, absolutely amazing space, but it didn't really lend itself to the after party, if you will, where we want to create a little bit more energy. We want a little bit more excitement. We want people dancing on the floor, cheering with the band. And unfortunately, the space we had, which was probably one of the premier places in all of Las Vegas to watch sports, didn't translate over to the after party. So this year we've moved the entire event over to 24 Oxford, which we think was a really good move for the property. This year we've also partnered with Rock and Roll Denim. You're probably familiar with Rock and Roll Denim through Tough Cooper's affiliation with that clothing brand. And we're actually going to have a retail experience out on the casino floor. We're doing a really nice high-end, nice feel experience right outside of the theater at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas, where we'll have a pop-up store, if you will, with some really cool products out there that we're working with Rock and Roll Denim on. So that's a little bit different. I think it's a fun element that we're adding to the property that lets everybody know, it's NFR time when you show up to property. We did a good job with drink specials last year. We're going to continue that. We'll have drink specials in every bar and every restaurant. And then we'll have a lot of menu items. We got ahead of the game this year, and we worked with our food and beverage teams. And we're really developing some really unique food and beverage experiences that are tailored to the NFR guests that are coming into town. Just based on the volumes that we saw last year, we want to do something a little special. So we're going to have some special menus, and not prepared to announce those yet, but we're working really hard on those, and we're really excited to have that for our guests who show up at this property during NFR.
So I'm definitely a foodie, and when you were mentioning some of these restaurants, obviously Morton's is one of my favorite steakhouses, but my wife doesn't come from a country western background, and Todd English really kind of perked me up because she loves going to Todd English wherever it is. So, what was it about some of the different things that you guys are doing that attracted you to the Virgin brand?
Well, again, it's that real lifestyle brand. This is a brand that focuses solely on the guest. It's a different experience when you walk into this property than it is when you walk into most casino resorts in Las Vegas, where you're not greeted with machines as soon as you walk in. You're actually greeted with a very unique lobby experience with amazing architecture that blends in with the Mojave Desert, that combines a little bit of the Mojave with Palm Springs, if you will. It's just a beautiful smell when you walk in, that we pump in through the AC system to make you feel relaxed. It's just a great experience when you walk in from a lifestyle perspective. But one of the things I appreciate and what attracted me to this property is, I'm going to get a little business oriented here. This is the only multi-operator casino in Las Vegas and in the US that I'm aware of. And what that means is we've partnered with some of the top hospitality brands in the world. So you may or may not know this, but we're actually part of the Hilton Worldwide family. We're a part of the Curio collection, which is a privately owned upscale collection that Hilton manages. So we are part of Hilton Worldwide. You can use your Hilton Honors points. You can earn Hilton Honors points by staying here. We also partnered with Mohegan Sun Casino, and they operate our casino floor. They are the first Native American gaming operator in Las Vegas, and we're very proud of that we were a part of that history. And they are a wonderful gaming partner that we have here on the property.
Wow.
We partner with AEG. AEG Presents manages our theater, so we get some of the top entertainment in the world that comes through this property because of our strong affiliation and partnership with AEG. And of course, we're a Virgin branded property. That is the flag we fly on the side of the building. That is the brand standards we incorporate. That is the guest service standards we incorporate. And that's where we really see a lot of that high touch point, one-on-one interaction with the guests that we have on property. That's where you see the things I talked about with the mini bar, the complimentary parking, the mobile check-in, and the digital key, and things that make your life a little bit easier. That's really the goal here. And so those elements really attracted me to this property. I mean, we get to work with Todd English. We get to work with the Morton brothers. We work with the Ferraro brothers. We've got Pizza Forte here, which I'm biased, but it's the best pizza in town. I had it for lunch today. And we really partner with folks like Tao Group. And that's what this property is built on, is these strong relationships and partnerships with some of the best operators in their class in the world. And that makes this property very special.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Again, when you bring such notable entities together and create such an experience for the fans, and then catering, especially specifically to the NFR, it seems like a go-to. And with the location and everything else that you have, I mean, you can start off at the mini bar and you can walk to the Thomas and Mack, even if you're wearing boots, with that mini bar prices on something like that. But the accessibility to everything, I have not been there since the Virgin takeover of the whole thing, and I cannot wait to go there and check it out. And it sounds like a totally different experience of what you're going to get from just the run of the mill on a lot of other places. So hats off to you guys on being forward thinking on that and bringing a top notch experience, man.
Well, thank you. It's been a passion. It's been a pretty incredible just over a year that we've been open, and we've made leaps and bounds progress. The whole city has. When we went through COVID, it was a very tough time for the city, and we're really proud that we opened March 25th of 2021, right at the tail end of the closures of Las Vegas. Our opening tied in with the reopening of Las Vegas, and it was a lot of pride to bring back 2,000 local employees and bring them back into the workplace, and get them incorporated back into this brand. That was our core focus. And just being a part of the city reopening and seeing the progress that this property has aligned itself with the city in that progress over the last, let's call it, 14 months has been absolutely incredible. And I'm blessed to be a part of that experience.
So Chad, for everybody that wants some information, preparing for the NFR and or other events? I mean, New Year's after that. Where does everybody need to go to see what's happening at Virgin Las Vegas?
Well, you can go to virginhotelslv.com. That'll give you all the information of all of our dining establishments. It'll tell you all the entertainment we have starting tomorrow all the way through February of next year. You can find all the information you need to know on virginhotelslv.com. If you're interested in knowing more about NFR, we made it a little bit easier for you. It's virginhotelslv.com/NFR. And that'll give you all the information that we've been talking about in terms of performances that are happening on property during NFR, talks about our complimentary shuttle service. And I'm really happy to say that we've got a current offer out for NFR, and we're offering 20% off of room rates, and we're including a $50 food and beverage credit. And again, you get complimentary parking with that. So think about that as an amenity that you get that, at most resorts that doesn't come with the offer. So we think we've got a wonderful offer for folks that want to experience us and want to stay here and try the property. Again, it's 20% off with a $50 food and beverage credit and complimentary parking. And you can find that offer on virginhotelslv.com/NFR.
Okay, Chad, one more question, and this is really important. So now that you talked about a food and beverage credit, I need to know the best drink or your favorite drink, the best entree, and then the best dessert. Putting you on the spot.
Okay. No, I'll tell you what. The Bar at Commons Club serves a 12-year Macallan on a large stone, and that is my go-to drink on this property. I absolutely love a nice scotch. That 12-year Macallan for me has a perfect blend, utilizing the different casks that it uses. And I'm a big fan of the large stone, just melting just a tad bit and keeping that as a strong drink, not watered down. So that's my go-to drink. It's a little simple, but that's what I like. I'd say my number one entree is the Branzino fish in Cassie Beach House. It is the best fish I've ever had. The preparation of that fish, the sauces it comes with, the presentation of the fish when it comes out, it's a very thin white fish. They serve it on one side with the skin up. There's fingerling potatoes that are in a sauce that come out in a white wine sauce. It is amazing. And I'd say my favorite dessert is a caramel. It is a Banana Foster's cheesecake.
Oh, yes.
Banana Foster's cheesecake in one steakhouse. And what I like about it is traditional cheesecakes are a little tough, right? They're a little hard when you're cutting through them.
Yes.
This one is, it's just a light pastry style cheesecake. It's got a cookie shell on the bottom. It has caramel popcorn with caramel drenched across the top of it. And it's probably something I'm going to have tonight now that you made me talk about it.
We have three people
Pavlov dogs right here.
Talk about this.
It's
chewing on the
fantastic.
microphone.
And let's make it known that they also wrote down each of those items and they were singing them during the finals.
We were
Good
taking
deal.
notes the entire time.
Excellent. Love it. Can't wait to have you guys here.
Yeah, that Macallan sounds good with the dessert too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, congratulations, Chad, to all the changes you guys have made, and we can't wait to see you guys when the NFR gets here.
Thank you. We're excited to host you. Let me know when you're on property. I'd love to grab that Macallan with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your time, Chad, and you guys have a good one and look forward to seeing you at NFR.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Bye, buddy. Yes, sir.
Want to experience more of the NFR? Then visit NFRexperience.com, and we invite you to subscribe to NFR Extra on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you're listening right now. If you like what you've heard on NFR Extra, we would love it if you gave us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe.